Welcome everybody, it's Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to have a look at Bitcoin. We've had a reaction off the area that we were discussing and we're going to be talking about what we can see next. Okay, so let's get into the price action here. So what we were looking for within the structure was looking for the possibility of actually having a fourth wave here. So we did come down a little bit past this move here to this 29,358. So we did come down all the way to this 29K region. We're talking about this previous little bit of structure here as well. So what I want to see now is I want to see this get back above some of these key highs for confirmation of a continuation here. So the first one would be this 30,547, and then we want to get back above this 31K region. You know, until we do that, we just need to be a little bit careful of that bearish scenario, which we'll go through within the video as well. But at the moment, I'm looking at this in two ways. We can either look at this as potentially being in a fourth wave here still, and we're looking for basically a push up into this zone here, this 32,237 to this 31,467 area. Obviously, we do seem to be having quite a nice impulsive move to the upside here, but we need to see this get better structure. We'll go over those internals in a second. The ideal thing that we're looking for here is that we're actually looking to still be building out a bigger five-wave structure from further back here, looking for this third wave to get up towards this 31K 780. So basically, we want to see a move up into the top area here, then find an additional fourth wave and an additional fifth wave to the upside. So this is the ideal count that I'm going with at the moment, but it needs to continue to prove itself. If we start to break down too deep here, this would invalidate this count. So this is the one way of looking at it potentially as having 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looking for this fifth wave here. There is another way we can argue that this is taking place, and we're talking about the potential that, within here we could have this as a triangle. So we just need to be a little bit careful of that fact. If that is the case, what we could then have is potentially this move starts from further away here, where this actually becomes a 1 and a 2. Or alternatively, even within this count, we could be seeing another additional 1 and a 2 here. So what needs to happen, like I said, we need to get back above these key highs here, and we need to start to get good structure to the upside. We'll go over the bearish count in a second, but basically what I want to see is this move starting to progress to the upside here. If we fail to do that, it could indicate that we are going to see some breakdown within the structure. So this is that potential of an additional 1 and a 2 here. Because we came down past this 50%, I'm just being cautious with the fact that we have come down here. If this move is completed into this high where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, what we could be setting up for still is an additional 1 and a 2. So we'd have come back into that 50% area already. But if this move breaks down one more time and potentially comes down but stays above this 454, we could still see this play out where this is just a bigger complex move where this becomes A, B, and then we get a C wave to the downside, bringing us down to this lower area. So this is why, we just need to be careful. We want to get back above these highs here. Until we do, we could just see, a further rejection from this area. So the zone I'm going to be looking out for rejection would be this 30K, would be a 50%, all the way up to towards this sort of 30,582, which would actually be a 786, bringing us back into these highs. So if we do move back up here, it will at least invalidate the impulsive potential to the downside, but we'd still have to just be a little bit cautious rather, because like I said, this whole move could still just be A, B, and then C, and still bring us down lower here in this instance where we're looking at another 1, 2. If we do lose this 28454, we need to be cautious because it would potentially mean that we're going to lose this low here, which would start to invalidate that impulsive potential from this area, and it could actually mean that we have set a high here if that is the case, which could then mean we break down. So the way that we could break down is I'm still looking out for that potential that either we can argue that from further back within the structure, we have something like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and that's a bigger five-wave move, and we could be looking for that wave 2 retracement. If that's the case, potentially we could still be talking about a move down between this sort of 50% here, this 2467, to this 21629, if that's the case. The other way that we can look at this is that potentially within here we have a bigger flat correction, and we actually completed earlier on here, and this whole move is still a corrective structure. So what I'd be looking for with that is basically within the structures here. I'm just going to turn on this bigger flat. We could see something like this where actually we completed much further back here, and this whole move has been a corrective structure where this becomes A, this becomes B, and then we're looking for this C wave to the downside. So this C wave to the downside, I've got a couple of levels here. Basically, what we could have is, so this is one level here, this 26,000 and 61 to this 25,353. And this is the other way of measuring it. So this is measuring the A wave, projecting it off this B wave high, and then this gives us these targets. So the one-to-one of that A is here, this 28,857, which would actually bring us back into these tops. So if we do get something like a running flat here, potentially this could be a zone that we look for a reaction to the upside. So if that's the case, what we'd want to see is basically to see five-wave structure develop here and then break back above this high point for confirmation. If we do form five-wave structure to the downside, we get a wave two up, fail to take these highs here, potentially we can look to continue this move to the downside here. So the next probable target, if we do break down, would be underneath this at this 28,381 to this 27,627. That would actually bring us back into this 50% line, as well as bring us back into this support zone that we have here. So if this develops into a bigger five-wave move, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this level. I also do have the 2.618, which is quite an extreme within the case here. It's not very common that it comes down towards this 2618, but that could potentially still play out if we do get a bigger five-wave move to the downside. This could be a bigger flat, still looking at this in this way. But except our target would be lower down here, which would tie in with this alternative way of measuring the C wave if we're getting an expanding flat. Potentially this is the other way we look for that target area. So this would also tie into that idea of coming back and retesting some of these highs. So we'll have to just give it a bit of space. We need to just be aware there is still this potential. So because we're looking at that in the previous video, we did talk about the potential that, we could be seeing something like this. And I'm still open to this idea where we could have this as a 1-2, and then, really until we start breaking up above these highs, we need to be careful because we could still see something like this 1-2. This becomes another 1-2 here, and then we actually start to break down in a bigger way. So if that's the case, we need to just be a little bit cautious within the structure here until we start to break back above the 786, which would bring us straight back into these previous support here. Above this 30,234, we still could see continuation to the downside. So this is why we need to be a little bit careful here. The other way that we can count this move potentially is looking at this. Oh, bear with me. Just click the wrong one. There we go. So what we could also look at here is the potential that instead we have this as a 1-2, this is a diagonal for a 1 and a 2, and then we could actually still be within a fourth wave here. So the fourth wave rejection target is basically this 29,816 to this 29,436. If we fail to break above this level, we could see this continue to the downside where we see a five-wave move breakdown, target area being towards this 28,928 to this 28,654. Now, this would actually be interesting because this would then take us into that 1.618 of this as a wave one. So if that's the case, we'd have to then be cautious of an additional fourth and a fifth wave to the downside, which could look to take us down towards a zone of this 28,660 to this 28,409. So this is basically one of the ways we could be looking to break down in a five-wave structure here. Need to just be a little bit careful within this move. Like I said, we do have some five-wave moves down here. We need to see at the moment all we have is corrective moves up. These moves can always look to extend out. So these are the targets, that we're going to be keeping an eye on to see how we react around these levels. If we are completed into this low, we want to see these moves react in a certain way. And I'm going to talk about that now. Basically, if we are looking to say that we've actually completed into the low here, what I'd want to see is something like this. I'm actually going to drill down into the 15-minute time frame here. So because of the structure here, there's obviously there isn't a lot to go off of here. We can potentially count this in many ways. We can argue one, two, one, two. This becomes three, four, five. Then we get another fourth and a fifth. But basically, what I want to see here is whether we can push up towards this 30K region. If we can push up towards there, potentially what this could indicate then is, we have a bigger third wave. So I'm just counting this entire move up here as a five-wave move from this area. What I want to see is either this move to get a direct push up towards this 30,108, or see this play out in this manner where we form an additional fourth wave here. Looking to hold the support range. I just need to change this slightly because it's adjusted. Obviously, this is the 15-minute chart. So what I want to see is this 29,675 hold. If we do hold this zone, potentially we could look for an additional fifth wave to the upside here, which could take us towards this 2987 to this 29,839 region. So this would be important if we do form five-wave structure here. Now, the problem is it wouldn't reach this 1618. So then my next thing that I'd be looking out for would be to see whether we have a three-wave move back to the downside, holding these lows. If we hold those lows, potentially we could be setting up for another one and a two here, and then we'd be looking for a bigger third wave to the upside, which could look to take us, I'm just going to throw this on here and we're going to talk, just could look to push us up towards that 30,268. And then basically I'd want to see, confirmation of an additional fourth and a fifth wave within the structure from that point. And then, then we'd be looking for the retracement. If we did move up in towards these zones here of this 30,275, what we'd want to see then is basically three-wave structure down, holding this zone of this 29332. If we start to break this area at that point, it would become less likely that we have this playing out. And we'd have to just be careful that we don't have something like a flat here, or this is just a three-wave move. Yeah, we'll have to be careful within this until we actually get good structure here. If we do maintain this low, I will be looking for the potential that, we could continue to push to the upside. Now, because we don't have a lot to go off of here, and I'm also in the 15-minute time frame, we could argue, like I said, that that's one, two, this is one, two, three, four, five, we get a fourth and a fifth, and then that move completes here, and then we just have a five-wave structure like this. What would it be on the next case then is basically looking for a three-wave move to the downside, looking to potentially hold these zones here before looking for that push up. So there is potential, for us to see some progression to the upside here, but it needs to hold these key levels. And at the moment, all we have is a move which has come up towards the zone of this 29,852, which is basically a one-to-one of this move like this. So, this is just a corrective move up currently. We could see this develop into an impulse, but we need to see either this form a 1-2, 1-2. We hold this higher support range here, and then we look to progress, or alternatively, progress a little bit higher up here where we get a fourth and a fifth, come back down then, and then push away, or alternatively, come back down here and then look to find support in this lower range here. If we start to lose 29,243, it becomes more likely that we are going to see continuation to the downside. So we need to just be aware of this. We want to get back above some of these key areas, and really what I want to see for more confirmation is that if we are looking at this as a potential break to the upside here, what I want to see is a move back of uh, out of this zone here, this 29,816, and breaking back above some of these high points. I'm just going to throw this channel on here. So yeah, I mean this channel also lines up with coming back into these resistance areas here, or previous support anyway. So we'll have to see how we react if we do move up into this zone. Could be we get come back up here and then get continuation to the downside. So really want to see this come up and break through these levels and then look for that continuation, something like this, and then look to push away from this zone. Until we do that, we need to just be a little bit careful, still have downside potential here, especially if we fail to clear this 29816 area. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free. Join, as well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both Primus BT and BYBIT down there. Both great exchanges we use on a regular basis. Check them out for yourself if you do not have an account. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.